Greetings and assalamu alaikum everyone. Hope you all are doing great. Welcome to another video. This is your host Munib, and in this video I'm going to teach you about what is VPC peering and how to configure VPC peering between multiple VPCs either in a single account or in different region or in different AWS accounts. Okay. So but first let's cover the theory of what actually VPC peering actually is. So think of VPC peering as an example, like you have two different private office in different buildings and it is connected through a secure underground tunnel. Okay. So what actually VPC peering is in technical wise. So we covered the introduction that VPC peering is like creating a private secure road tunnel or road connection between two VPCs in AWS. Okay. It allows the resource inside VPCs like EC2, RDS, or any other resources to communicate with each other using private IPs, just like they are in the same network, but without using internet. Okay, if we want to communicate these services either in a single VPC or in multiple VPCs, either in single account or in cross account without internet, we have an option to use VPC peering. Okay, I guess there is a one line which is missed, which is missing. That for VPC peering, let me just write it here for you. There should be no single CIDR blocks of each VPCs. What does it mean? Like for example, if I have VPC A having 192 having 192.168.0.0/16 network, and I want to do a VPC peering lab between VPC A and VPC peering, so it should have different CIDR block. It should not have single or same shader block, otherwise it will overlap and there is a chance that they will not communicate with each other. So that's the limitation you can consider is that if we have VPC A having this cider block and VPC B having this cider block, so it can communicate each other. This is the VPC peering point, that having different CIDR block, it can be communicate easily. But for example, if A has same CIDR block and VPCB has also same CIDR block, so it will not communicate. I repeat, it will not communicate and it will become overlap. Okay. So you have to make sure that in order to use VPC peering, so either on both side you should have at least this same CIDR block of 192 or 168, and in this side you can use the 10.10.0 0.0.16. Okay, we have three ranges of VPC. Okay, I have written down that we have three private ranges of VPC. You can either use 10.0.0.0 cider block, and you have ranges from using 10.0.0 till 10.255.255.255. Likewise, you have the other range from 172.16 till 172.31.25.255.255, and you have the last private ranges of VPC from 192.168 till 192.168.255.255. So, for example, let me just write one more thing so it will be easier for you to understand. Okay. Okay, so I have written down some use cases. Like for example, if you want to use VPC peering, so in case one, VPC-A, it should have VPC cider block of 192.168, and then in VPC-B, it should have 10.0.0.0/16 cider block, so it can be communicate easily without having any issue. In case 2, as you can see that VPC-A, the source cider block is 10.0.0 cider, and in VPCP as a requester or acceptor, you can consider any of these as a requester and acceptor. I will explain in hands-on lab what actually is acceptor and what is requester. So in VPCP, we have 172.16 cider block. In case 2, VPC-A has 10 cider block, and from destination side, it has 172.16 cider block. Okay. In case 3, we have VPC-A source as 172.31, Whereas in VPCP, we have 192.168.0.0/cider block. These are the use cases you can consider while implementing VPC peering. Okay, and let's just remove this line so that we can cover the remaining topic. Okay, so why we use VPC peering? That's the great question. That to connect environment like development, testing, and production, we have to connect multiple environment. In normal use case, we have multiple environments like we have production, testing, or development. Okay, I will explain it in another video. Okay, to allow internal services like database or APIs or EC2 server to talk without going over the internet. Okay, and it provides you cost efficient and low latency communication between application. One thing we have to remember that VPC peering has its own cost, so you have to make sure to use it wisely. Okay, depending upon your use case. To the share resources across VPCs without exposing them publicly. Okay, and I have written down some use cases further, like dev prod separation or multi-region connectivity or cross-account communication. In VPC peering, we can use multiple VPCs in a single account, having a single region or multiple region, or we have a single account having multiple region, or we can use different account with different region for VPC peering purpose. Okay, so let me show you a high level diagram in order to better make you understand. Okay, so this is the high level diagram. We have VPC A, and inside VPC we have subnet, and in subnet A we have resources that wants to communicate with other VPC B, or having a subnet B, and inside subnet B it has different resources. So we use VPC peering to connect resources in different VPCs. This allows private network traffic to flow between them. Okay, so let's jump into AWS account, and I will show you how to configure AWS VPC peering and access some of the resources. Okay, welcome back. As you can see that right now I'm in VPC console, and as you can see we have two VPC. This is a default one, which comes by default when you create your AWS account first. So each region have their own default VPCs, and this one is the custom VPC, which you can see having a name of Muni VPC. So this is the custom VPC, and default is the default VPC. So for demo purpose, what I'm going to do is do VPC peering between default VPC and Muni VPC. And one more limitation that I have earlier told you, that for VPC peering, uh, the two CIDR between the VPC should have different CIDR blocks. In this case, the default has 172.31 CIDR, and my VPC has 192.168 CIDR block. Okay. Okay. So go to peering connection and create peering connection, and let's give it a name as default to Munib VPC peering. Okay, there are two options. One is VPC ID as a requester and VPC ID as an acceptor. Okay, so in this case, you have to decide which VPC would be used as an acceptor or requester. So let's assume that I will be the one who is requesting. By means, the Muni VPC is requesting, and the VPC acceptor would be default VPC. Okay, so I have selected my own VPC as a requester. I have selected the option of default VPC as an acceptor. And one thing you can see, guys, that uh, there are two options of account, my account or another account. So for another account, you have to add your account ID and select your desired region where you want to do VPC peering. Okay, and if you stay with my account, it asks you region, whether in single region or in multi-region. Okay, so in this case, I will be using this region, which is US East 1. Okay, and then create peering connection. Now, as you can see that it is showing a VPC peering connection has been requested. So if you are in same account and you know that in single account you guys have two VPCs, so you can accept the request. Okay, either you can accept the request or reject the request. So for demo purpose, I am accepting the request. Okay. Okay, so right now, once this VPC peering connection is made, we have to copy the acceptor CIDR block, and let's just go to my VPC route table. Okay, so these are my VPC's route table. So I'm attaching the default VPC setup log in private route table. Okay. So go to routes, edit route, and add the setup log of 172, which is the default VPC setup of default VPC. Okay. /16 and select pairing connection right here and this one and save changes. Okay. Default VPC, go to default VPC, select the IP ID of VPC ID, go to route table and paste it here. You will see default VPC's route table. As we have two route tables, one is public and one is private. So let's just go to public and click on route, edit route, add route, and I'm typing my VPC CIDR block right here, okay, which will be .0.0/16. And in drop down section, select VPC peering connection, default to Munib, and save changes. Okay. So as far as we have covered the VPC pairing lab, so how to verify or cross verify that either any resources inside my own VPC, and on the other hand, there are also resources which are running on default VPC, will they communicate to each other or not? Okay, so that's the question. Okay, so for that, so this is the HLD or high level diagram which I was going to represent to all of you, that right now we are achieving this case. For suppose that in my VPC having the CIDR block of 192.168, a private subnet inside a private server inside private subnet is running. On the other hand, we have default VPC which is connected to internet gateway, and in a public subnet we have a EC2 instance which will be in a public subnet and it is public server. Okay, so through this server we are going to take the access of EC2 private server. Okay, so in this case, you guys can use Linux or Windows AMI, but for that I'm using the Windows EC2, so it will be easier for you to understand the overall hierarchy. Okay, for Windows I am taking T3 small, and key pair I am using already existed key pair which I have, and as we are creating public server inside of VPC, so we are not going to change the VPC and subnet. Okay, and select the existing security group if we have, or we can create a new one. Okay, so allow RDP, and we are good to go with the storage and all other configuration, and let's just launch the instance. Okay, one instance have been launched, and let's just launch a new instance which will be in a private subnet. Okay, so Munib private Windows server, Munib VPC. Okay, so I have given name as private Windows server Munib VPC. Selecting Windows AMI, I have selected the Windows AMI along with instance type which is T3 small, and for demo purpose I am selecting same key pair. Okay, so if you are using any other AC2 key pair, so make sure that you have that key pair file. Okay, now in network setting I am changing the VPC from default to Munib, and right here I can select the private one, and auto assign should be disabled. We don't want to assign auto assign public IP, and let's just create a new security group for I have created a new security group rule, RDP VPC pairing, and I have only allowed the 33894 and GP2, and then launch. Okay, so once this instance launched, so let me just get the public IP of the public Windows server, and one thing right now I'm doing is download the remote desktop file, and in the meantime let me just get the password. Let's just launch the instance. Okay, okay, I might have made a mistake. Instead of taking a public subnet, I have taken the private subnet. So let's just create this new instance. Okay, so I have created a new server right now and decrypted the password. And let's just access the public server first, give the password, and then access it. And okay, I'm inside the public server which is made on default VPC. So right now I'm inside the public server which is running on default VPC. Okay, so in order to access the private server which is running on Munib VPC, so for that, let's just go to instance console and copy the IP of private server. And in the meantime, let's just get and decrypt the password so we can use it for one-time access. Okay, decrypt the password, and as you can see, we have both private IP and password. Okay, and open MSTSC for remote desktop connection and type here the private IP. Let's see if it asks for the password or not. So as you can see that it is asking for credential. It means that it is working perfectly fine till now. So give it name as administrator for username and type the password here. Okay, yes. And you can see that we are able to access the server or private server which is running on Munib VPC, and this server right here is running on default VPC. So as you can see right here again, and I'm inside the private server which is running on Munib VPC. And if I minimize it, so right now I'm inside the public subnet or public server which is running on default VPC. So here is the overall lab implementation of configuring VPC peering. I hope you guys have enjoyed the overall steps of theory and practical. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and you guys have understood the concept of VPC peering along with theory and lab. So right here I am closing this one, and I will see you in the next one. So stay tuned for that, and inshallah I will come up with the other amazing topics related to cloud and DevOps in future. So stay tuned for that, and take care of yourself and your loved ones. Okay, Allah Hafiz.